Am I the asshole for making my grandma cry by uninviting her to my wedding? I know the title is vague, but here's what happened: I'm bisexual, and next May, I'm getting married to my boyfriend. My grandmother has always been accepting of my sexuality, so it's never been an issue. But yesterday, we were talking about my wedding coming up and she told me she was glad I am settling down with a man because she wouldn't have come to my wedding if it was with a woman. I got really mad because this is the first time she has ever insinuated that she didn't like me liking women, and she said it in a way that implied she thought I was straight now. We kinda argued back and forth and I told her that she wasn't invited to my wedding because if she didn't want to see me with a woman, she didn't deserve to see me with a man either. She got really upset and started crying and left. I honestly can't tell if it was justified.
Not the asshole. 1. It's your wedding, and 2. What if you had married a woman? What would she do then? How is a wedding with a man any different to that with a woman? She had no business at all commenting on your sexuality like that, and now she has to deal with the consequences of her actions. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Your grandma should get some educating on what bisexual mean. If I marry a woman, still bi. If I marry a man, still bi.
Not the asshole. It's your wedding. And what if you were marrying a woman? It's rude of her to say that, and you have every right to uninvite her.
Not the asshole. That's a harsh thing for her to say. It's okay for you to be upset. Now, call her up and see if y'all can talk. If she truly apologizes, then let it go and have her back. If not, then your first judgment was right and leave her out. Wedding guests should be ready to be a support group for the couple and a sense of comfort for years to come. It's not just a party for half-hearted relatives, lol.
You know that by coming to Reddit you are going to get a chorus of sexual politics-obsessed 20-year-olds telling you did the right thing. But you know what you did in your heart. Was it the right thing to uninvite your grandmother, who even you admit has been nothing but supportive until now? Over something which means nothing in the long term, that she is happy you picked the partner you did?
Nah, I would agree with everyone's not the asshole reply, and being bisexual myself I would have been deeply offended by something like that, but at the same time, 1, she is your grandmother and likely grew up in a less tolerant time, not that this alone makes it excusable, and 2, she probably has looked forward to attending your wedding after seeing you grow up in her later years. I'm struggling with giving a verdict for this reason because I wanna say everyone sucks hair, but I can't say you're being an asshole here either. Just wanted to offer this opinion.
Not the asshole. Your grandma clearly doesn't respect your sexuality. Whether you're marrying a woman or not, it's still a part of you, and you have every right to cut people out who don't respect that. Don't let yourself be guilt-tripped by her crocodile tears. If she wants to attend your wedding, she needs to educate herself about bisexuality and respect, not cry about it.
She should not have said that, as her main concern should be your happiness, but why destroy a relationship over a situation that did not happen? Perhaps you could have gently explained how you felt about her saying that, let it sit with her and she might change the way she thinks.
Not the asshole. That's just not cool. Sounds like she doesn't respect you.
Not the asshole. Honestly, what is it with old people and their I have nothing against the LGBTQ+ community and I support your sexuality, but I hope you end up with the opposite sex logic.
Info: do you want any relationship with your grandma after this? Because you're not gonna get it. Do you want to cut off your grandmother, out of your life, over this? I can't call you an asshole or not an asshole, especially cause this is so vague. I just want you to know what it is that you're really deciding on. My grandma died before I came out, so I don't know how that would have ended up, but at least yours is trying. I don't know. Your bridge to burn can't really be quantified as an asshole moment or not.
Not the asshole. She was awful.
Your grandma was extremely supportive throughout your life. However, mentally it was probably a bit hard for her. Don't forget the era she grew up in and molded her personal understanding of the world, when anything but straight sexuality was a taboo. She accepted you and your sexuality because you're her granddaughter, blindly and without any ifs. If anything, she probably just wanted to be honest with you. Instead of burning bridges, talk it out.
Not the asshole at all, you're absolutely right. Not the asshole, and don't listen to the people who think you're bullying a poor innocent old lady by being rightfully upset by her homophobia. If she comes around and apologizes, you can always re-invite her. Not the asshole. You are completely justified, although it appears your grandmother does care about you and wants to see your life unfold in a beautiful way. While you by no means have to, if you think her actions, despite being bad, don't completely change your relationship with her, I am sure she would really appreciate being allowed to watch you at your wedding after learning her lesson and crying.
I'd say not the asshole in your immediate response, but if you follow through and don't let her come you might regret it. I am in a similar situation with my grandparents, however I know when I get married I'll leave it up to them whether they come to my wedding or not. We were close when I was a kid, and I know I'd regret it if I told them not to come and they were upset about it. I think do whatever feels right, but keep in mind she won't always be around even if they are homophobic, closed-minded.
Not the asshole. You are the asshole. Just be the bigger person and let your grandma come to your wedding. You can't just cut people out of your life when you have disagreements with them. Learn how to be less rash next time. I know I'm gonna get heavily downvoted though, lol.
Not the asshole, you don't need that toxicity on your special day that's supposed to be all about you plus your partner person shrugging you don't owe her anything.
Not the arsehole but also a bit you are the arsehole as you could have tried to help her rather than dismissing her opinion as she still needs time to change. From what I see I think she just does not understand it, and you should just educate her.
Not the asshole. Not your fault she falsely accepted you. She probably was hoping or praying the whole time that you'd find your true self and marry a man and not a woman. My mother will say she accepts some things, but really doesn't, she just doesn't want to hurt me.
NTA. If she wouldn't want to come to your wedding if you were marrying a woman then she does not deserve to come to your wedding at all, regardless of who you are marrying. Not the arsehole it's your wedding. Your day. You can do whatever you want and invite whoever you want. It seems like your grandma was just acting supportive and then showed her true feelings about shit now.
Fear of this is why I haven't told my parents I'm bisexual. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole, but you gotta understand that your grandmother, depending on how old she is, was probably raised being told that liking the same sex was wrong and a sin, etc. Thankfully, in my opinion, she is accepting of your sexuality, though her going out of her way to say that she would refuse to go to your wedding if it were a woman you were marrying was an asshole move. Finally, again, in my opinion, she might not have many years left of her life, so, despite being her in-awe, you should really try to make her final years happier. Just to clarify, all of this is my opinion and opinions aren't factual and do differentiate depending on the person.
Not the asshole you are right, but remember you will probably reconnect and be on good terms again, but if she's not at your wedding you'll regret it when she's gone.
Not the asshole. She should not tell Rude.
Not the asshole. She is old enough to understand that she made a mistake.
You are the arsehole in a small way. What she said was hurtful towards who you are. She also let slip that her being accepting of your sexuality was just an act on her part. She could have just left it at I'm really happy for you, but she couldn't stop herself with getting a dig in. We really ought to stop letting older people continue to propagate hate through the well, back in my day channel. But still, is correcting one hateful comment worth ruining the relationship you have with your grandmother? Is the pain you are causing her proportional to what that one sentence did you?
Not the asshole. It seems like she was only pretending to be supportive and hoping that you would settle down with a man so that she didn't had to show her real face. Also, be careful that your family doesn't bully you into inviting her back or try to sneak her into your wedding on that day.
Not the asshole. I'm sorry this happened. What a disappointment after you thought she supported your sexuality all these years. Hopefully she can come to her senses. It can be harder for the old gen though. Maybe take the time to have a civil and open conversation about sexuality. I hope things work out for your relationship.
Not the asshole. Okay, for any sane person, it is not okay to insult someone's sexuality. There is no justification for insulting someone's sexuality.
It's hard to give a judgment on this one. Of course she's wrong in her attitude that she's happy you are settling down with a man. Your response though will color your relationship with her for the rest of her life. I don't know how old she is but that could be not that long. It's a pretty nuclear move to uninvite her, so as long as you've considered the ramifications and are content with that then that's okay. If there is a way to talk things out with her and still have her at the wedding then that personally would be my preferred option.
Not the asshole. I share this article with family and friends all the time. It really resonated with me being a bisexual female and marrying a man. I'm married to a man and queerer than ever. dailyextra.com/I'm-married-to-a-man-and-queer-than-ever-1347116 I find sometimes it clears up ideas without having to have a full-on discussion.
Not the asshole. You are allowed to invite or not invite anyone you want for whatever reason you want. It's your wedding after all. But please understand that she comes from a different time, and was raised with different views. You aren't the asshole in this situation, but it is still extremely petty.
Not the asshole. She wouldn't have been there if it was a woman, she doesn't get to be there because it's a man. Not the asshole. This is a huge problem that bisexual and other multisexual people face. People only accept their sexuality as long as they settle down with a person of the approved gender. I've seen both straight and gay people pull this, and it's so frustrating. I'm sorry you had to go through this, and please know that it is completely justified to not want her at your wedding. Only people who support you 100% deserve to be there.
Not the asshole. She said to herself that she is only coming to the wedding because you are marrying a man. If she wasn't so inclined to come if it was a woman, then it really shouldn't be that big of a deal to her now. It's only important to her now because it's a man, not because it's you and your partner. Even if uninviting her is harsh, it's your day and you should be surrounded by support, not by erasure culture.
Not the asshole. Your wedding and all. You are not an asshole, but you are immature and not thinking past the tip of your nose. Geez, get over yourself. It's your grandma. You made her cry. Will you still feel this pleased with yourself in 2 years, or after she is gone? I'm tired of people using their weddings to club people over the head with their beliefs, issues. Appropriate if someone had been abusive, or aggressively shitty. Do you think there won't be fallout from this? Or that your wedding will just go on as usual without your grandma? What will your pictures look like without your grandma? Get a grip. I completely agree that everyone should be tolerant of others' sexual identities. But this is not the place to take a stand. If you still feel the same way after considering the consequences, go for it. And bring on the downvotes.
Not the asshole. But I really think this relationship might be salvaged. It might be worth your time to try to reconcile and use this AA teaching moment.
Not the asshole. This is an ongoing issue with my parents and it's very exhausting. They're of the mindset that all bisexuals essentially just pick which gender they like more at some point and transition to gay or straight. Since I'm currently dating a guy, they assume that I'm out of my phase, and I consistently have to remind them that if my boyfriend and I break up, there is a very probable chance that I bring home a girl in the future. I hope your grandmother realizes that what's important is being there, loving you, and supporting you and your spouse, no matter their gender.
Unpopular opinion, and not saying you should re-invite her, but it does sound like true ignorance on her part. Maybe you could reach out and offer her resources to better understand what is probably for her a new social norm.
That does come off as a biphobic bingo, doesn't it? Ha, you did settle for a man after all, not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Don't reward homophobia.
Not the asshole. Gotta make the point to bigots that their bullshit is off limits.
Not the asshole. She insulted you and made you feel uncomfortable by saying she doesn't like your sexuality. And if you were to marry a woman and have her invited, how would she react?
Not the asshole. It's your wedding, and your story shows that she never even accepted you for who you are, especially with the whole bi-erasure thing, brew.
NTA. Nah. Look, your grandma was giving what she thought was a nice sentiment. Bisexual is hard to understand in the LGBTQ+, let alone to an older generation. Being happy you end up with a certain gender is not a bad thing because you don't really know why she'd have hard feelings. You just assume it's homophobic. On the other hand, being by myself, I understand. She said it badly. Not only that, but it definitely would feel like a rejection of me. In the end, I agree with the people who say talk to her. She may have said it wrong. It may be some old, ingrained ideas that she needs to slowly work out. Depending on her response, and how important her coming is to you, you can or cannot re-invite her to the wedding. But at least you'd be left with closure. Oh, and it's not ESH because you did explain it to her, though cutting her off immediately like that from coming was jarring. You didn't make her cry, she just cried in response to a very understandable consequence.